sitting in the morning sun. I'll be sitting when the evening comes, watching the ships roll in. Then I watch them roll away again. Oh, sitting on the dock of the bay, watching the tide roll away. Oh, I'm sitting on the dock of the bay, wasting time. Left my home in Georgia, heading for the Frisco Bay. I got nothing to live for. Looks like nothing's gonna come my way. So I'm just, looks like nothing's gonna change. But the time rolled away, sitting on the dock of the bay, wasting time. I can't do what 10 people tell me to do, so I guess I remain the same. Rest in my bones, and this loneliness won't leave me alone. 1,000 miles I roam just to make this a dock my home. Oh, just sitting on the dock of the bay, watching the tide roll away. Sitting on the dock of the bay, wasting time. Good morning, Unity.
Oh, well.
It's a great day to be indoors. Our theme has been breaking free, and this is a great late song by the Beatles called Free as a Bird.
It's the next best thing to be free as a bird. Home and dry, like a homing bird I fly, free as the wings. life that we once knew. Can we really live without each other? Where did we lose the touch? That seemed so much, always made me feel free as a bird. That's the next best thing to be. Free as a that we once knew, always made me feel so. It's the next best thing to be. Free as a bird. Free as a bird. Free as a bird.
Beautiful harmonies. Oh, thank you, Namaste Band. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, and greetings from this very fall, cozy, rainy morning on our beautiful campus here at Unity of Gaithersburg. My name is Reverend Cheryl Myers, and it is my joy to welcome you to our Sunday celebration this morning. Thanks for tuning in via our YouTube, and thank you for your patience with our YouTube technical difficulties. Apparently, YouTube has shifted some things to access its services, and so it's been quite the navigation. So we are grateful to Keith Mounts and Kevin Flatt and Michael Kaiser and all the folks that have supported this process to be tuning in this morning. And thank you for your well wishes as I was away last week, and thank you, Edie, so much for blessing us with your wisdom. And so there's just so much to be grateful for this morning. So let's just breathe into that in this moment as wherever you are, just gently close your eyes and take a deep breath. And as you take that deep breath, you're informing your physical body that it's time to settle in, to get comfortable, to open your heart and your mind, to be blessed by spiritual community, to leave this time inspired and empowered, to be the change we want to see in our beautiful world. So let's just breathe into that affirmation and that intention, that we are that change, we are the light, and we open our hearts again and our minds to learning more about what we truly are, to deepening that claiming, that knowing, that expression. So thank you for being here. Know that your presence, your light is felt here in this room and all those that are tuning in this morning. So one more deep breath in gratitude. And so it is. Amen. So now Edie will come and share some transformational opportunities with us. Come on up, Edie.
Good morning. This week's transformational opportunities are also detailed in our community newsletter, and you can receive next week's edition by sharing your email with us. Our annual membership meeting is happening next Sunday, November 8th at 12:15 on Zoom. At this meeting, we'll discern new board members, approve the budget, and hear updates from the board and Rev Cheryl about all that is unfolding here at Unity of Gaithersburg. See you there. Join us for virtual Thanksgiving gathering on Friday, November 20th at 7 p.m. We're putting together a PowerPoint of Unity of Gaithersburg congregants and events, as well as a kudu board for folks to share recipes, gratitudes, and greetings. Should be a lot of fun. If you'd like to attend, and just click the link in our newsletter or send an email to admin@unityofgaithersburg.org. The Zoom link will be sent out on the afternoon of the 20th. Send pictures of fun times you've experienced within our spiritual community to our admin office as well. This will be a joyous and connecting time together. And remember our other Zoom happenings during this time of no in-person activities. Experience a midweek spiritual boost as Rev Cheryl leads a Wednesday morning meditation at 9 a.m. Hump Day Happy Hour is each Wednesday afternoon from 5 to 6. And our prayer circles. Our next prayer circle, experience a spiritual renewal. The next prayer circles are Monday, November 2 at 7 p.m. and Thursday, November 5 at noon. To join these events, email admin@unityofgaithersburg.org to receive the link, or click on the event on our Facebook page. See you soon. And now, please center yourselves as we reflect together on today's daily word. Our focus, free. Our affirmation, I am free. My past does not reflect my future. As I release limitations and fears that have influenced me, I begin to awaken. The past is the past. I realize I can let it go. When I am in a stressful situation and the ego starts to rear its head, I stop, take a breath, and pay attention. I immediately see the ways I've identified with the pain body. From this awareness, this identification ceases and the transformation begins. I am free to make different choices. I then choose from my true nature. I choose love. I choose peace. Staying aware of my inner process, moment to moment, is essential to my healing and spiritual growth. With each breath, I let go of the past. The ego has no power over me. I deepen my knowing of what I am, and I am free. And from Luke 13:12, when Jesus saw her, he called her over and said, "Woman, you are free from your ailment." And immediately she stood up straight. And now, let's prepare for meditation by singing All Is Well.
As I close my eyes and the world disappears, I can feel my breath rise. tells all my fears, and I hear a gentle voice calling. All is well, 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 all is
So once again, let us prepare for this time of stillness and reflection by taking a deep breath and following that one deep breath with two more. Deep, restoring, sustaining breaths. And now, as you return to breathing normally, begin to shift your attention to that inward and outward flow. Being the observer, watching the air come into your body, raising your chest and belly, and then as you exhale, and your belly and chest fall. Be that still and silent observer of the breath, moving in and moving out. Just notice if any busy thinking or body sensations are seeking to distract you from this focus. Just gently return your attention to observing the breath moving in and out. And so noticing as we are this observer of the breath, how it brings us to the present moment. And so what I invite you to do in this space of awareness is to allow yourself to feel something that's challenging you right now, to bring into your awareness a fear you might be having, a challenge that you might be experiencing in your life. Maybe you have fear about the election results. Maybe you have concerns over a physical illness. And so I just invite you in this spaciousness of the now moment that you've created by observing the breath to bring those feelings into your experience. What are you feeling right now as you allow a concern to come into your awareness? And notice if it seeks to distract you from the present moment, Notice where you feel the feelings in your body. Notice if that present moment awareness that was created from observing the breath is now filled with a story. Something that you're telling that has you worried or concerned, anxious or fearful. And what I invite you to do is to simply direct your breath into that energy, into those feelings, into any body sensations you're having that's related to this fear or challenge. Direct your breath into that energy. Breathe directly into the fearful thought. Breathe directly into the feeling, the emotions that are surfacing. And begin to notice your experience. Fearful thoughts, anxiety, worry, the stories that we tell that perpetuate our ego and pain body have very dense frequencies, very dense energies. And one of the most powerful tools we have to dissolve that energy is our breath. Breathe into the density of those energies and begin to notice the power that it's held begin to dissolve. The pull of the story, of the negativity, begins to dissipate, begins to dissolve as you imbue it with your breath. So as we move now into a time of silence, I invite you to continue to work with this fear or bring another to your mind's eye and practice breathing into the density of that story, of that negativity. Breathe in to it with your breath and notice how it begins to dissolve in the silence. as you practice breathing into the density of fear. Any old story that you've told that still holds emotion and pain. If you're afraid, as you allow those feelings to be acknowledged, accept their presence and breathe into them, we loosen the stronghold of the pain body of the ego and open the way for peace. Open the way for us to experience oneness, for in that space of acceptance and allowing, there is no other. So I just invite you to bring this practice into your meditation time. Anytime you feel afraid, anxious, angry, hurt, worried, your breath is an amazing tool for present moment awareness and conscious choosing. So let's take a deep breath together. And so it is. Amen.
I move through my day, feeling lighthearted and carefree, knowing all is well. I move through my day, feeling lighthearted and carefree, knowing all is well. All is well. I move through my day, feeling lighthearted and carefree, knowing all is well. I move through my day, feeling lighthearted and carefree, knowing all is well. All is
Isn't like I've always wondered what I was made of. Is this really me? I've only recently discovered I've always stood in the shadows of expectations of me. Now that I see there's no judge, there's no jury. Now that I know I can take my own road, I feel a freedom that I have never known. It's about unbecoming what I never was. It's about unlearning what was never true. It's about unbelieving all the lies that I've been told. Unbecoming is the story of my soul. Everybody's name was given. Nobody asks us who we really are. But after so many years of living, you wouldn't think the answer would still be so far. I'm slow, I'm smart, I'm accountant, I'm art, I'm left-brained or right, I'm a morning person or night. Maybe it's time to step out of these lines, see who I find. It's about unbecoming what I never was. It's about unlearning what was never true. It's about unbelieving all the lies that I've been told. Unbecoming is the story of my soul. Scariest thing is offending, disappointing everyone's vision of who I should be. But the only film is to fly on my own, 'cause I know till I see. It's about unbecoming what I never was. It's about unlearning what was never true. It's about unbelieving all the lies that I've been told. Unbecoming starts the story of my soul. Unbecoming is coming home.
Thank you so much for doing that song. Unbecoming by Daniel Nahmod. Ugh. Well, this week I have some one-liners for you.
Okay.
Ego one-liners. No, you can't wait. My friend is a farmer with a huge ego problem. All I did was ask him how he's doing, and he brags that he's outstanding in his field. Man, this solar eclipse is hurting my ego. It just feels like I'm living in the moon's shadow. Does one really suffer from having an inflated ego? Or is it the greatest disease anyone could possibly ever have, ever? My friends say I'm egocentric, but enough about them. And lastly, the king's ego really took a hit when he couldn't put Humpty Dumpty back together again. His men were walking on eggshells. Yay! Okay, I think we're about done with ego jokes, but anyway. So, welcome back to our delve into Eckhart Tolle's book, A New Earth, Awakening to Your Life's Purpose. And boy, is it working us. It's working me, and I hope it's working you too, because I think given what's happening in our world, on our planet, we're being called to do our work. And so last week, our dear Edie took us on an exploration of the faces we wear, our roles, and how they express as the ego and work in tandem with the pain body. Right, Edie? Okay, great. Okay, so this week, we're exploring how to break free from the stronghold of the ego and the pain body. Yay. good, right? That's the good news. Because we can be free for sure. But first, before we delve, I want to review what the ego is and what the pain body is and how they work together. The ego is a mass of recurring thought and conditioned mental emotional patterns that are invested with the sense of self and I. It arises when it gets attached and identifies with form and content. It's unconscious and creates separation. The pain body is past emotional cellular pain. I tend to want to call it our core wounds, the things that are just so deep in our cells, that the pain body always wants to renew itself through experiencing more pain. It's the result of pain that's never been fully faced, accepted, and let go. It's rooted in childhood pain as well as pain that came later in life. It's fueled by the voice of the ego. When we live from a false sense of self, aka the ego, the emotional pain of the pain body is its constant companion. The strategies of the ego, which show up as criticism, judgment, being right, making others wrong, reactivity, constant grievances, unforgiveness, resentment, are a result of the unhealed pain body. It's how we think we protect ourselves. By creating an other to whom we are an enemy, we can maintain our cover of being right, safe, we think we're safe, and undiscovered as the inauthentic self we're expressing. And I can't help but think, and Brene Brown talks a lot about shame, about when we're not living our authentic self, we feel shame. And I think many of us know we're living inauthentically when we're letting the ego and the pain body have their way. We feel unsettled, we feel bad, both emotionally and physically, but we haven't known how to break free. And also not forgetting that there are not only individual pain bodies, but collective ones. One very large pain body in our country and world is the unhealed history of tribal warfare, slavery, and other violence and suffering delivered by humans to each other. Mother Earth has an unhealed pain body through our incessant violence toward her. And this pain lives in the collective psyche of humanity and is being added to on a daily basis. And unfortunately, children also take on the energy of the pain body of their parents. So you can definitely see how the ego and the pain body work in tandem with each other and profoundly outpicture in our lives. And this feels very daunting, but let's talk now about how we can break free. So, thoughts have their own range of frequencies, with negative thoughts at the lower end of the scale. I'm sure you've heard this before. Thoughts such as powerlessness, rage, resentment, fear, anxiety. And positive thoughts at the higher end, such as gratitude, joy, love, peacefulness, compassion. The pain body vibrates at a low frequency, and how it feeds itself, how it gains new energy and momentum, is taking in food that resonates at its same energy frequency. It thrives on negative thinking, gossip, conflict, drama, and unhappiness. The pain body is addicted to unhappiness. The foundation of healing, of dissolving the pain body, of breaking free, is awareness, allowing, and accepting. So Eckhart Tolle shares a story in this chapter that I wanted to share with you because I feel like we can see ourselves. I know I saw myself in this story, and see if we can connect with it personally. See, as you hear this story, if you can relate to this woman. So a woman came to see him, and she was in her early 30s, and underneath her pleasantries and manners, he could see a great deal of pain. And once she came into his office and kind of settled in, she just began to sob uncontrollably. She was suffering in her present-day life by a tremendously heavy pain body. She had been abused as a child and was feeding her long-standing pain with her thoughts. And as she sat with Eckhart, he saw that she was not able to see how her emotional pain and her thoughts were intertwined. She was completely identified with both. However, her burden of unhappiness was becoming so unbearable, and she truly wanted to break free. She just didn't know how. So he began working with her, asking her to focus her attention on her physical body and where she was feeling her emotion. And at first she resisted because she was expecting him to show her some miraculous technique on how to be happy. But instead, he was taking her directly into her unhappiness. He compassionately explained that in that moment, whatever she was feeling was what she was feeling, and there was nothing she could do about that fact. So instead of wanting that moment to be any different than it was, which was adding to the pain she was already feeling, he asked her if it was possible to accept what she was feeling right then and there. At first, she said no. She didn't want to accept it. And he asked her in that moment whose voice it was that said that. Was it her or was it the unhappiness? He kept working with her by asking, can you see that your unhappiness about being unhappy is just one more layer of unhappiness? Is it possible for you to allow those feelings to just be there? If you don't mind being unhappy, what happens to the unhappiness? Are you willing to find out? Apparently she was. Because after sitting with that possibility, her energy began to shift, and she began to feel space around her pain. The space was a result of her willingness to allow and begin an inner acceptance of her experience in that moment. See, allowing creates spaciousness. She expressed that the pain seemed to matter less as she allowed this space to infill her experience in the present moment. See, I feel like this woman models what happens the moment we stop identifying with the old painful emotions and the story we tell about it. We can stop this identification through putting our attention on it directly without resistance. I call it kind of leaning into the experience without judgment. From this allowing, space is created that happens only in the present. And see, the story, this old story, is no longer in control. It's no longer running the show. See, you can't be unhappy without an unhappy story. You just can't. And what Eckhart calls this awareness is presence, also known as formless attention. See, it's just bearing witness. I call it just bearing witness to the story, bearing witness, allowing space. Because see, when we can be the observer, all of a sudden what we notice is there's space created between the story that we're telling, the emotions that we're feeling about it. And once that space is created, we can be with it, and it begins to dissolve. See, bringing presence into the world is what Eckhart calls our reason for existence. That level of consciousness is imperative if we're going to transcend the grip of the pain body expressing itself in the world. I love this teaching of creating space in the midst of the heaviness of a trigger that's activated within us, just like we did in that meditation. It breaks up the pain body's density. And he also invited us to recognize our patterns. An example, patterns of behavior. So look at the places in your life when you overreact the same way over and over to things. And of course, your ego might be saying right now, overreact? I don't overreact. My response is completely called for. Look there. Road rage, being impatient, waiting to vote, being impatient in the grocery store line when somebody is having trouble putting their credit card in the machine and you're like, really? That kind of thing. Someone voting differently than you, constant angry reactive responses when things don't go your way. Oh, that's juicy stuff. That's the pain body expressing. So just notice. And he talked about more pain body triggers, like money. You know, many of us grew up in households where we were taught there's not enough. I always heard, money does not grow on trees, Cheryl. And there's shame about not having enough, or shame at having more than what your family had, maybe. Many families have conflict or drama about money. Someone who experienced neglect or abandonment as a child can have a pain body activated when someone's late for an appointment, or when someone leaves, or when someone dies. The pain body expresses as intense anguish, incapacitating depression, obsessive anger, or any other feelings or responses that are beyond kind of the normal pain of a situation. Someone who experienced physical and emotional abuse can struggle in intimate relationships with trust and heart connection. The person may actually draw someone to him or herself that is like the person who abused them, because the pain body wants more of the same pain. The pain body wants to be fed. So the opportunity we have, look at our relationships. Relationships are the hotbed of transformation. Yes, they are. Do you have the same breakups? Do you have similar partings with friends? The same conflict with bosses? A similar story about how someone just doesn't understand you? Recognizing the patterns of how the pain body feeds itself are important to seeing what's really happening. This is the good news. The pain body needs us to be unconscious and unaware. It cannot tolerate presence. Once we begin to be conscious and we've just had enough of this drama, inner peace becomes much more of a priority and we will act accordingly. And folks, really, our evolution is dependent on it. We get to awaken. We get to start making conscious choices. And folks, we're meant to evolve, and if we don't, there are consequences. And this, I did want to talk about karma, because, I've heard people talk about, oh, well, so-and-so and so-and-so's got some karma coming to him or her. And we talk about karma like it's an outside God that's going to have divine retribution. The lightning is going to strike them. No. Karma is nothing more than the consequences of us staying asleep to our true nature. That's what karma is. So how long does it take to break free from the pain body? Eckhart Tolle says no time at all. Whenever we feel the pain body activated, our job is to know that what we're feeling is the pain body in ourselves. Knowing this is all that it takes to break our identification with it. When this identification stops, the transformation begins. This knowing prevents the old emotion from rising up and taking over our inner dialogue, as well as our actions, or interactions with others. The pain body can no longer, once you're conscious, the pain body can no longer use you to renew itself. The emotions, those old emotions in that old story, might creep in every now and then, but as you bring awareness to them, they're not going to stick. Yay. The key is allowing them to come up and accepting them in the moment without resistance, because, folks, you are not your emotions. You are not your thoughts. You are so much more than that. And I want to close with some words from Jesus that Eckhart Tolle actually used, and I love this. It's from Matthew 5:48 from Jesus' Sermon on the Mount. And he said, "Be perfect, therefore, as your heavenly Father is perfect." And I think many people have read this like, I can't be perfect. What did Jesus mean by this? Well, your heavenly Father is the I am principle. The I am nature you are that is your inherent wholeness and perfection. When this state of consciousness is held as a knowing, it creates heaven within and a new earth without. There can be no other. We are always whole, folks, regardless of whether the pain body is expressing or not. You are not broken. Your perfection, your wholeness is. And really knowing this leads to a peace and a freedom that is always available for us to claim. So this week, I'm just going to invite you to look at your patterns in relationship with money, people, your past. Stay aware of the stories that you tell, old stories. Why these situations turned out the way they did. Why it shouldn't have happened. It was wrong. What are the feelings you've held onto that still feed that story? Because as long as you tell any story of past pain and have any energy around it, you can be assured the pain body is at work. Remember, you cannot be unhappy without an unhappy story. This awareness alone is the beginning of the healing of the pain body. Holding on to our painful stories is bondage, folks. Allowing, accepting, and giving space to our feelings, thoughts, and experience is freedom. What are you choosing? I'm seeing us choosing to break free. So let's affirm together. As I allow and accept what I feel from the pain body, I create an inner spaciousness for the wholeness I am to express. My true nature emerges, and I know oneness. And so it is.
For that amazing reminder. Are we not blessed? And now, this is our time to give from our unlimited abundance and open hearts. Thank you for going to our website or our newsletter to give your gifts online. And you can also text to give. Here's some prosperity wisdom from Bustin' Loose from the Money Game by Robert Scheinfeld. Opening to the infinite abundance means letting go of limiting thoughts and concerns and allowing the fullness of your unlimited power and infinite potential to express. You will live a life of freedom, abundance, and joy, knowing what you really are. And as we each give, we affirm this offering blessing together. Divine love, I am, blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. And I am so grateful. Thank you so much. Blessings.
It's not brought down from paradise, at least it's not for me. And if the wind is right, you can sail away and find tranquility. Oh, the canvas can do miracles, just you wait and see. Oh, you believe me. It's not far, no, Neverland, no reason to pretend. And if the wind is right, you can sail away innocence again. Oh, the canvas can do miracles, just you wait and see. Oh, you believe me. Sailing takes me away to where I've always heard it would be. Just a dream won't carry me. Soon I will be free. Fantasy, it gets the best of me. at least it's not for me. And if the wind is right, you can sail away and find serenity. Oh, the canvas can do miracles. Just you wait and see. Oh, you believe me. Sailing takes me away to where I've always heard it could be. Just a dream in the wind carry me. Soon I will be free.
That was an amazing rendition of that song. Thank you. Everybody, let's give them a hand wherever you are. I know, it was awesome. All right, so wherever you are, let's join together and sing our peace song.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, a peace that was meant to be. With God as family all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Light of God surrounds us, the love of God enfolds us, the power of God protects us, the presence of God watches over us, and wherever we are, God is, and all is well. Amen. Amen.
Have a beautiful week doing your work of breaking free, being ever so gentle with yourself. See you at class on Tuesday night. Have a beautiful week.
As a bird, next best thing to be, free as a bird.
life that we once knew.
Can we really live without each other? Where did we lose the touch that seemed to mean so much? It always paid.